Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today in DC Dark Legion, I want to talk about some of the changes that have recently been implemented in the game as of just a few days ago. There's been a lot of change in the game, and so much change that it is starting to fundamentally change how we play this game. And some of the updates that we're going to be going over has to do with tagged synergy teams. Some of them are fairly significant, but those changes may change your focus. A lot of change here. Change your focus on which teams that you're going to want to build. There's a lot to discuss here. We're going to hit on a few things, but I think they're important. So let's get into it. All right, and welcome back. Before we jump into this, I'm going to go on a little bit of a venting, ranting thing here. There have been so much change in this game. I've been trying to put out consistent videos on different content in the game. The problem is I just don't feel that there's a ton of content in this game right now, especially with all the different changes that are happening. We had change to intel points, which has essentially made ACN obsolete. Now, if you pay and you put money into the game and you've got a ton of intel points, you can still go into ACN and use them. But using them and defeat the Dark Legion and all the crisis tasks and everything and how you need to manage that, you don't have a ton left over for ACN because you want to focus on your crisis tasks and helping with your defeat the Dark Legion and everything. So it has kind of made ACN obsolete. Combat Cycle, one of my favorite modes in the game, is right now. We don't have new bosses when we've been told that we were going to have some new bosses. That was pushed out, so nothing new there. The mechanics have been updated a little bit, but then also the rewards, especially once you get into Phase 2, there's not much there. I'm wondering why there's not a Phase 3 yet. I'm wondering why we haven't seen beefed up rewards in there yet. I don't know, maybe it's something that's coming a little later on, but it's just kind of a game mode now. Darkest Timeline has been needing an update for a very long time. It used to be like Combat Cycle, one of my favorite game modes. I used to stream it all the time. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's just kind of blah and boring now. So there's some updates there. So there's 3 game modes that I don't even touch really anymore. I go into my Combat Cycle so I can go ahead and test my teams and stuff like that, but it's just not as fun right now. Now we have more changes that are happening in the game. Some have me a little concerned, so we're going to talk about that. And then with the tagged synergy updates, I feel it may change the teams that we want to build. So let's go through a couple things on here. So first, updates the world map. So this thing here, player bases. They added the ability to move your base around. Now, if we go all the way back to landscape mode, what was implemented back then was you had to move your base close to where your rift was so that you had the shorter times to launch your attacks when you do your Umbral Rifts. It was also moving it for another game mode. I can't remember right now what it was, but there was a benefit to moving your base so that your travel time was shorter. I hope we don't go back to that, but I'm curious why we have our bases on the map. Is it so that they can implement attacking other players' bases on that map, similar to other 4X strategy games? That's a direction I'm not really interested in going. One of the reasons I like this game so much is because you don't attack other people's bases and take their resources and stuff like that. There's things like the train and stuff like that where you can attack them and get some resources, but it's not crippling. So I'm very curious what this means and what's going to happen. There's some updates to Ultimate Battle for Gotham and Guardian Challenge. Not really going to get into those too much, but look at this. This is what I want to spend most of my time on right here, are these faction changes. So Justice League got a little bit of a change. So we can see the previous and the updated here. Their attack and their HP, it looks like, for the most part, got bumped up a little bit. And then so did the HP piece here. So a little bit of a bump there. I don't think it's anything to make Justice League a must-have team. It's kind of a lackluster team. And I'm a little disappointed in that, actually. So we'll see what happens with that team coming up. Bat Family, this is interesting. So you got your Bat Family here. Crit rate increase, so 8, 16, and 24. So it's essentially the same there. But you also get dodge. I think that's cool for Bat Family. They've needed a little bit of something because they don't have a healer. The dodge obviously is going to help a little bit, but I don't think it rockets the Bat Family up the list. Arkham's Most Wanted here. I do like this one. So Arkham's Most Wanted. Their effect accuracy would increase along with their HP. Now it's their HP and their damage over time. I think this definitely boosts Arkham's Most Wanted. That damage over time increase, the HP increase. You've got Joker, who is already fantastic for combat cycle. So I'm wondering, I haven't gone in there and done much testing this week. It's been super busy at work. My new job and new responsibilities, I'm working like 11 and 12-hour days. That's another reason why content has been pretty slow. It's just everything's been so busy right now. But I do want to get in there and do some additional testing. I don't have a very high Joker. So those of you who have like 5 red Joker or even your Jokers into the gold, I'm very curious to hear from you how this is impacting that team. So I'm excited to do some testing there. Justice League Dark, I think this is a little bit of a nerf for Constantine. So we've got there. So this right here, previously it increased their spiritual amp. So that's the range of damage that that team can do. Now it increases shield strength, which is cool. We're going to have some increased shields. Fate is going to come around and be, because nobody's really using Fate much. To be honest, I think they probably went in there and trying to figure out who's using who what. And Fate just wasn't being used a lot because you've got Hippolyta, who does fantastic with shields. You've got Riddler, who does really good with shields too. So they beefed up the shields. Also at the start, grants them a shield equal to 30% of their max health. So they immediately start with a shield. This may help against Deathstroke, but wait till we get to LOD. So we'll see what this does there for the team. I think it's a little bit of a decrease in damage for Constantine because of this spiritual amp. We no longer have that in there. Death Metal. This I think is needed. We know that we have another Death Metal character coming up. If you haven't seen it, Death Metal Batman is coming. Don't have a timeline on that yet. But this one here, you would alternate between damage reduction and increased damage every few seconds, and it lasted till the end of battle. I really wasn't a fan of that mechanic. The new one now, champions reduce all allies' damage taken. Boom, you got damage reduction there. And increases allies' damage dealt. Boom, until the end of battle. So it doesn't alternate. You have damage reduction and increased damage. Here's the thing, though. Death Metal is like more than a Wales character so far. We have no idea how Death Metal Batman is going to be implemented, but I hope that they learn from Death Metal Wonder Woman and the stir that caused, that they're going to tweak that a little bit, make him a little more free-to-play friendly, and obviously people who want to spend are going to be able to advance him much, much quicker. But there needs to be a better balance there because that Death Metal Wonder Woman was awful. Okay, so very curious there. Legion of Doom, check this out. Deploying Legion of Doom. Previously, champions increased their energy restoration speed by 15, 18, and 24. Now, champions increase their energy gain by 10, 20, 30. So they got increased energy gain, which means they're going to be able to launch their attacks much quicker. Damage dealt increases also for 10 seconds at the start of battle. So right off the bat, I need to test this again because one of the counters to Deathstroke is Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing has that damage reduction, right? And that shield, it really protects him. Also, you've got Zatanna. Zatanna's mirror image, her hologram, whatever you want to call it. That draws Deathstroke's attention. Again, I haven't been able to do much testing, but this may have put them on more even. This may have given Deathstroke and the Legion of Doom team a leg up. And maybe Constantine isn't as much of a counter anymore. Or maybe the JLD team isn't much of a counter anymore. Because typically you'd go into PvP with Constantine, Swamp Thing, and Zatanna. So I got to do some additional testing there. Teen Titans. I don't know. So Teen Titans, they used to have a crit damage increase. But now their physical damage dealt is increased. Their spiritual defense is increased for each buff they have, stacking up to 15, 30, and 45%, and 30, 60, 100% respectively. So, I don't know. We'll see what this team can do with that. So when I said that this may change the teams that you want to build, here was my thought. If you're not building Arkham, you probably want to now, because I think this was huge for Arkham. Justice League, I don't think it's going to. This change is going to deter you from building Justice League Dark. They're still a fantastic team, and I think the hit to Constantine is probably minimal. Death Metal, all you whales out there, we're probably going to still be going after Death Metal. I'm very interested in what this whole team looks like, but again, I hope there's a better mechanism to release Death Metal Batman. Legion of Doom, I think this may raise Legion of Doom even up a little bit more as far as a team to build, specifically for PvP. You got that energy gain and that damage increase right at the beginning of battle. It only lasts for 10 seconds, but 10 seconds is a long time, so we'll see what that looks like. And I don't think the Teen Titan change is going to change my mind yet, but we shall see. Also, we got a buff to, not a buff, but we did have a change to Scarecrow. I think overall, without going into too much detail on this, because I'll probably do a separate video on it, I think overall it kind of brought him down a notch or two. So we shall see. All right, that's what I had for you. Joker adjustment, since we were talking about the change. So the Ultimate increased the base chance to inflict 10 stacks of Joker Venom from 50 to 60. Increase the base chance to inflict 2 stacks of Joker Venom from 50 to 60. And then increase base chance to inflict Joker Venom again from 50 to 60. So they increased that Joker Venom. They also fixed it into where the stacks would be inflicted incorrectly when spreading under certain circumstances. So got a little bit of buff with Joker there. So Arkham Asylum buff, Arkham's Most Wanted buff, as well as the Joker buff. I think that launches that team up the list. And I already like that team, and I was already building it as kind of an off team anyway. So a lot of changes happening. Unfortunately, not a lot of content happening. They're changing a lot in the game without adding a lot to the game, if that makes any sense to you. We do have Metropolis Maneuvers that moved into Supreme Commander. It's on day 6. I do like the mode, but I think there's a lot still left to do in the game in order to improve it and bring people back to the game, because unfortunately I think we've lost quite a bit of people. We've also lost revenue over recent months. December came in a little bit low. I think they were in, they hit under $1 million across both platforms, or right at $1 million. So we shall see. I still think, as I said before, I think 2026 is going to be a telling year, and it's going to be a critical year for DC Dark Legion, because if we don't see some really good stuff in the game, I think we're going to see more people leave. Very curious on your thoughts on the recent changes in the content in the game. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, everybody, as always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.